Have you ever worked on and color graded a shot to what you think is almost perfect, but there's something about it that's not quite right? There's some crucial attribute missing or something in it that shouldn't be there, and you can't figure out what it is. That not knowing will have you bouncing between your effects, color, and edit, and cut pages for hours and hours. Well, if your shot is a still, and by that I mean a tripod or a camera mounted shot, and the shot is without movement, and I mean pans, dollies, or zooms, then your missing element is probably camera shake. And I know you're going, what? But yes, most of us don't see camera shake as an element that we need in our shots. We see it as an effect, one of those buttons on our editors. Or we see it as an element that is best removed with stabilization and slow motion. But I'm here to tell you that camera shake is your friend. And like sound, color, framing, and story arcing, camera shake is an effective element of your films. You can use camera shake for dramatic and cinematic. For you multimodal peeps, that's rhetoric. Effect. And I've spent a lot of time in the university in the rhetoric and composition departments learning theory. And I've also learned so much from you guys on YouTube, you content creators. And by blending your know-how with my rhetoric and composition theory, I'm trying to reach outside the classroom. Kind of like if Aristotle had a filmmaking channel on YouTube, except that I know I'm not Aristotle. I know that I would have no videos on YouTube if you all had not taught me. So my hope is that rhetorical theory will help you. But I'm going to do it differently than we do at the university. At school, we would just talk about theory. But I know that content creators are more concerned with how it can help them now in a project that they are working on now. So I bring a little bit of theory, just enough to make my point, to something that you are dealing with right now in your projects. So why would we want camera shake in our videos? Why should we even care? If we have too much camera shake, we use gimbals and tripods and IBIS and other gadgets and tech to soften it. So the thinking is that camera shake is bad, and we need to get rid of it as much as possible. But the truth is that in most of our shots, we should want at least a little minimal, smooth, level camera shake. Camera shake is the slight up and down and left and right that comes naturally from handheld filming. And there can be, and usually is, some camera shake in moving shots. But its absence in a moving shot is not as noticeable as it is in still shots. Now, if you ask my wife, she'd tell you that I have the body of a Greek god. But she is wrong. See, I and all of you, we have the bodies of gimbals. We are in constant motion, and our bodies are good at smoothing out our vision. Our backs, necks, and neurological senses of equilibrium smooth the jitters and shakes, smooth our footsteps, the bumps in the road. When we can't smooth things out, we take some Dramamine. But make no mistake about it, we are always in motion. And you should first think of camera shake as the recreation of the human being looking at stuff. And I think this is going to lead us into the rhetoric of camera shake. But first, I want to try something. On your screen is a red dot with 4 small green dots around it. Stay as still as you possibly can and focus on the red dot. Try to keep it in the exact same place in your field of vision. Do not let it move 1 pixel to the left or right, 1 pixel up or down. And do not move your head or your eyes. Now look at the green dot on the top of the screen. Now the one on the left. Now the one on the right. Now look at the green dot on the bottom. Okay, if you're a normal human being, the task of not moving your head was nearly impossible. There was some movement, however slight, when you looked from the red dot to the green, and from each of the dots thereafter. Another thing that occurred while you were looking at those dots was your eyes were moving, even if your head was relatively still. In this painting titled A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of Le Grand Jatte, hope I pronounced that correctly, a painting by Georges Seurat, I don't know, something like that. The little black lines crisscrossing the canvas are the tracking marks of a person's eye movements as they looked over the details in the painting's scene. The results were produced by a neuroscientist named Robert Wirtz of the National Eye Institute in the United States. Your living body, your eyes, this moving planet, makes it impossible for us to be and for what we see to appear as if completely motionless. Our sense of sight is never motionless. There is always some level of shake. Are you starting to make a connection here? Shaking is a motion. This is where the rhetoric of camera shake comes in. Now, I'd like to coin a new phrase for you that I hope you will carry with you for the rest of your content creating futures. To shake is human. Yes, I came up with that all on my own. You're brilliant, right? Well, let's talk about rhetoric. There are many definitions of rhetoric, especially at the university. There's a saying in academia, definitions of rhetoric are like button-up sweaters. Everybody's got one. But our Lord and Savior, Aristotle, says that rhetoric is the ability to see the available means of persuasion. When you are communicating with other people, when you are giving a speech, writing a paper, making a YouTube video about thumbnail design or a short film about killing someone for love, when you communicate with other people, you are engaging in some level of rhetoric. When we make a YouTube video, we are trying to persuade our viewers. And you might be thinking, not me, I just make short films about love. Or you are wrong, sir. I just film leaves and waterfalls and then cut them to pop music in slow motion. In all or any of those situations, you are trying to be persuasive. You are being rhetorical. If nothing else, you are trying to persuade your viewers that your video is worth watching. Every bit of the content creation process is done with the intent of persuading others to at least watch it, listen to it, or read it. If you see and use sad music as an available means of persuasion, you are really trying to persuade viewers, human beings, right, to have a physical reaction to the film, to sigh or to cry. And when you want someone to feel fear, you are trying to persuade a person sitting in front of a screen that what they are watching is so real that the hairs on their arms should rise, their heart should beat faster. They should take deeper breaths because they will need the extra oxygen to run. Their fight or flight instinct should kick in because your film is so scary. And there's something else about rhetoric that you may not be aware of. The rhetoric of your content creation begins before the first frame of your finished video. It's in your film's title, the design of your thumbnail, your choice of user and channel name. Every bit of your content creation is rhetorical. And just as you use rhetoric for smiles and tears, you also use persuasion for things like click-through ratios, likes, and comments. And there is no shame, no narcissism, no self-centeredness in admitting that a part of why you create and what you create is so that others will see your work and know who you are. Anyway, we're all human and we are social. But more to the point, so are our audiences. Okay, so WTF does camera shake have to do with all of this? It is one of the most human and subtle elements of our filmmaking. Until a few minutes ago, you probably never thought of your body as a gimbal, a machine that seeks to smooth out its own constant motion. That subtle part of our biological humanness is always there. Shake and motion are a huge factor in how we experience the world. Nothing is motionless in our off-camera and off-screen worlds. So a little shake in your videos is a nod to you and to your viewers' humanity. It adds a bit of "this is real" to your films. It makes your films more like an actual human experience than if there were no camera shake at all. It helps your viewer to see your shots as more of their own personal experience, as more of a showing than a telling. And the hope is that your viewer forgets about your camera because they are there, in your shot, in your set, in the world that you've created. The natural, smooth amount of camera shake is a means of persuading viewers of the realness, the organic, biological genuineness of your film. Now remember at the beginning of this video, I said there is something missing from those tripod shots, those motionless shots. And the answer was in the question. There was no motion. They were unnatural, too still. Thinking of camera shake like this puts us in a better position to engage in more complex rhetorics, like trying to persuade people to feel emotions, to think what it is you are asking them to think, to see what you want them to see, and to get and to understand the message that you are trying to send with your film. Once we understand the rhetoric of camera shake, we recognize that it's an integral part of our films and our stories. We can think more critically and artistically about how to put camera shake to use, when to use, and when to cut camera shake for rhetorical emphasis and dramatic effect. Now let's go back to the horror film idea for a moment. If we think of camera shake as rhetorically human and natural, as if a part of our lived experience, then the absence of shake could convey something inhuman and unnatural, right? Here, camera shake becomes a rhetorical element, a means of persuasion that we've smartly recognized that helps us tell and also sell our stories. I want you to look at this example from The Shining. The little boy is riding his big wheel through the hallway of a haunted hotel. Notice that the camera is following him, but there is camera shake in these moving shots. And it may even be a bit more prominent as he approaches the scary corners that we cannot see around. So an increase in camera shake helps to add tension if we want it to. We are being dragged by this kid through Scaryville. But notice what happens when the kid stops in front of this hotel room. If you've seen the movie, you know what's behind that door. And I'm not going to spoil it for the rest of you. But let's just say it's not good. And the camera stops, and on the precipice of this really, really not good place, a place where the unnatural is present, so too stops the camera shake. Its absence is subconsciously telling the viewer, you are having an unnatural, inhuman experience. Here, camera shake is a subtle tool, or really, the absence of camera shake is used as a means of persuasion that rhetorically emphasizes the filmmaker's message, and that message here is, be scared. And subconsciously, it disorients and it destabilizes the audience. You should feel fear. You should get moving very quickly and get some camera shake back into your life, right? Now, I think that most of you know that camera shake can be used for effects like explosions, earthquakes, people riding in boats, that kind of stuff. What I've been talking about in this video is the camera shake, the smooth, subtle, constant motion that mimics our biological and neurophysiological systems. Sorry, I know, big words. But having a concept of these kinds of things, just knowing that they're there and that they matter, is enough to get you thinking about elements of your videos as more than just cool looking effects. The camera shake I've been talking about is akin to having a very low, almost unnoticeable room tone track playing under a dialogue scene. It's there and it affects the film's believability and realness, but it's not overly obvious. But take it away and something's off. Sometimes that small something that is off can become a distraction that pulls your viewer out of the world you've created. Rhetorically, being aware of camera shake can help to persuade your viewers that your film is real. The message is real, and with a sense of the rhetorical, your chances are better for having your viewers feel the emotions you want them to feel and to experience the mood you are trying to achieve. If you're a content creator, the videos that make people feel are the videos that people like, right? The videos that get comments and watch time. So I hope this video has helped you in some way. If you like this video, please drop a like for me. It helps with the algorithms. Check out my channel for more videos like this, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along. If you have any ideas or effects that you would like for me to overthink about, right? Leave a comment below and I will try my best to get to it. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video.